Doom fixed the coordinates in his armor's onboard system and took off. He had already learned to navigate by the landmarks and magnetic signatures of Battleworld's surface. The storm hindered his progress, but his destination was many miles distant. The storm would not affect him there. In his initial reconnaissance of Battleworld, following his ill-fated attempt to breach the Beyonder's barrier, Doom had observed something interesting, something familiar, and the base's strange technology had all but confirmed his suspicions. He landed on a street of 3- and 4-story buildings and surveyed his surroundings. His hypothesis was correct. Wedged into the crust of Battleworld between a stinking swamp and the far arc of the volcanic range that extended for thousands of miles across the planet's surface was a fair portion of an Earth city. He had to match the images of its tallest buildings to databases carried in his armor's computer system. Interesting, he thought. It wasn't London or Tokyo, Lagos or Rio or New York.
Denver, Colorado. The Beyonder has made unusual choices.
After a few blocks, the squat apartment buildings gave way to a more urban setting, with taller structures more densely packed. The citizens of Denver appear to be coping with their wrenching dislocation as well as any ordinary person could have. They cooked meals on gas grills, walked the streets, and attempted to shore up their perimeter defenses against the fauna inhabiting the landscapes where the streets of Denver ended and the multifarious chaos of Battleworld began. Doom had chosen to alter his appearance temporarily, using a holographic projector in his armor to present himself as he would look without it, and without the scarring on his face. He disdained such illusions, but his goals would be more easily achieved if he could make social contact without his true identity being revealed at first. Part of Doom's errand here was simple reconnaissance. The more he understood about how Battleworld was constructed, the more insight he might gain into the Beyonder's methods, and thereby his goals. In Doom's experience, once you knew what someone wanted and why, it was child's play to turn their plans against them. But he had come for another reason as well. He was looking for a human, or at least humanoid, specimens to take part in an experimental endeavor. He had found a great deal of equipment in the installation he called Doombase. Some of it remained inscrutable to him, but some had yielded their secrets. One item in particular held his interest. Doom believed that he could use it to create powers in select human beings who had a certain bent toward possibility, toward, perhaps, desire. Thus Doom's interest in the human city Denver. There were perhaps 5,000 people present in this area, perhaps more. Should he take a few of them by force? This seemed unnecessary. It would be more fitting to find a few likely candidates and make them a simple offer. Do as I wish, and you will have power beyond your wildest imaginings. It was the same appeal the Beyonder had made to Doom and the others brought from Earth. The difference was, Doom knew exactly how he would follow through, and when he had, he would be that much closer to claiming a prize that the Beyonder did not know he or it had offered. Around him, Doom felt the essence of Battleworld shift. He became more conscious of some of the people nearby, and less conscious of others.
I won't be bullied by a man ever again.
I know, but let's just get back to my place before we get caught out here again.
Certain faces stood out.
Where are we? I went to pick up Heather from school and the whole school was gone. My baby! I need to find my baby!
Certain voices were clearer.
People laughed. We said I was a prepper, but now he's laughing. We've enough water and canned goods stockpiled to last 3 months. After that...
He felt inclinations to follow a specific course along the open area that signs designated the 16th Street Mall. Behind his mask, Doom smiled. This was how the Beyonder, or perhaps Battleworld itself, expressed approval. Doom was not an unconscious participant. He let Battleworld lead him. He would address himself to likely candidates and let their own desires guide him to fulfill his. He was drawn to a pair of young women making their way through the skyscrapers and chaos. Trying to figure out how to survive in this new land, many of Denver's citizens had armed themselves, presumably against incursions of beasts from the adjoining swamp. Others had organized into groups to handle the distribution of resources. He saw police officers, firefighters, and less formal bands of what he assumed were citizen militias. What he did not see was overt violence or signs that large-scale rioting had occurred. The people seemed largely peaceful. Was that an effect of Battleworld as well?
Our sins have delivered us to a new kind of hell. Do not look to worldly survival.
Doom considered the words of this street preacher who shouted a few blocks away. Doom too would have found himself scrambling to understand if he had not been made aware of the Beyonder. For a time, at least. As it was, Doom understood all.
Ladies,
They looked up as he uncloaked himself, revealing his true aspect.
permit me to introduce myself. I am Victor von Doom, sovereign of Latveria, scientist and diplomat. May I have a word?
He was testing the guidance of Battleworld here. Most ordinary people would have leapt out of their chairs and run shrieking at the sight of the Fantastic Four's armor-clad arch-nemesis. These two, however, regarded him with interest, not fear. This was marvelous, Doom thought. He was working in cooperation with the consciousness animating Battleworld. This must surely mean success.
A word about what?
They were an unusual pair. The one who had spoken was tall but overweight, hunched over self-consciously. The other was small and thin, and looked to Doom's eye as if she had not had regular exercise in some time.
You are aware that we are displaced from our previous environment.
You can say that again. You don't seem too worried about it, though.
That is because I have a plan. It requires assistance.
Does it now?
I would not say too much here. My reputation is somewhat checkered, shall we say, due to poor publicity and media bias.
I know how that can be.
The blonde extended her hand. Doom shook it, careful not to engage the servo motors in his gauntlet that could crush her hand to paste.
Mary McFerrin, but you can call me Skeeter. That's, some glove you've got there.
It is of my own design. Victor von Doom.
Marcia Rosenberg.
Doom knew that his appearance often had an unnerving effect on people due to a natural fear of advanced technology and power, and perhaps of those who hide their faces, but Mrs. McFerrin and Rosenberg did not seem discomfited in the least.
Marcia, Skeeter, I have a proposal for you. It involves some slight risk, but certainly no more than you already experience this place, surrounded by the deadly variety of organisms that roam this world.
Sales pitch?
Indeed. I bring to you a proposal. And like all good deals, this one benefits us both. I have need of more people to execute a plan that will return us all to our home world and situate us better than when we left. For you, the benefits present opportunity. Would you wish to get home? Would you wish to be a part of the grand mission that will open the way for us to do so? Here is a way to unlock that door, which also leads to a destiny you have never imagined.